everybody. How are you? It's time for another Lyrics Explained, where I use my expertise as the top lyrics explanation expert in the country to go behind the context, go behind the frame that are the lyrics of your favorite songs and give you more in-depth knowledge so that you can enjoy your music even more. And folks, we're going to go to the country charts with this one. It's Thomas Rhett's 16. Now, I'm going to draw on all 4 years of my training at the University of Omaha with the best professors in the lyrics game so that we can break this song down and understand what is going on. Now, folks, Thomas Rhett is the son of who? That's right, Rhett Akins, also a country star. It runs in the family, so you're talking about talent that is multiple generations deep. Let's kick it off with their song, Thomas Rhett's song 16, verse 1. Take a left here, boy, take it slow. Don't get distracted by that radio. I just rolled my eyes and I said, Daddy, I know. I'm 15. I ain't green like some old 10-year-old. Well, folks, he's 15 years old. He tried to get a job at McDonald's right there in Georgia where they lived. He grew up in Valdosta, Georgia, and he tried to get a job. They turned him away. They said, you're not 16. You got to come back. So what did he do? He got a job driving a moonshine running car. Take a left here, boy. Take it slow. Don't get distracted by that radio. I just rolled my eyes and I said, Daddy, I know. He's talking about Daddy Lampkins, the biggest moonshine runner kingpin in that part of Georgia. That's not his daddy. That's not Rhett. He's talking about Daddy Lampkins, the Moonshine King. He's 15 years old. That's the only job he could get, and he just turned out to be great at it. Chorus number 1. What I wouldn't give to be 16, wild and free, cruising up and down Maine in my F-150. Roll the windows down, bass too loud from this burnt CD. I'll be right where I want to be when I'm 16. Yeah, 16. Well, what's he talking about? Cruising up and down Maine in my F-150 is not a Ford F-150. His dad would not let him take out the family pickup just to cruise around and try to impress the chicks. He said, you can take the Combine. The Combine is also coded F-150. The John Deere F-150 is one of the biggest combines in the ag industry. And they had one from all that country music money. They had a combine to help out on their farm. So there is Thomas Rhett driving up and down the streets of Valdosta. Everybody else has their Camaro, their Ford F-150, their Chevy Silverado, all of their trucks and cool muscle cars. And here comes Thomas Rhett in the F-150 combine. He's taking up not only one, not only two, he's taking up the entire lane, both sides of the street. And that cycle, that area they used to cruise as kids, it's unbelievable. Let's go right into verse 2. Now that I can drive, finally feel alive, but I got this curfew, sneaking in late, smelling like my girlfriend's perfume, people talking about college and knowledge, and that's all right. But all I'm thinking about is an unsupervised Saturday night. So there they are at the A&W Root Beer. He's off of his moonshine drive. He's off of his moonshine job, I should say. He's got the combine. They're cruising the small town area like you do in a small town in Georgia, right? And they're in the A&W Root Beer taking a break. And what's his girlfriend doing? She's tickling his ankle with her toes, and the message was sent and the message received, and that was that she wanted to go out into the combine and start making out, but he had to be home for curfew. Rhett was no fool, man. He was running a tight ship. He said, have the combine home by 11. The girlfriend knew that. So what they did was, this is a high-end combine. They put it on auto drive, put their house as the destination, and the combine drove itself so they could make out during the ride home. That's where it says, sneaking in late, smelling like my girlfriend's perfume. So they made out in the combine as it auto drove itself home. Chorus 2. What I wouldn't give to be 18. wild and free. Buzzing off a can of that grizzly wintergreen, looking old enough to pull off this fake ID. I'll be right there where I want to be when I'm 1818. Well, the combine takes a special type of oil. That's what they're talking about. Buzzing off a can of that grizzly wintergreen. It was grizzly wintergreen industrial strength oil for that big engine. But the thing is, it's so strong when you open the can to pour it in, you get a little bit of buzz, man. It's just an unbelievable song. So let's go right to the bridge. I'm old enough to smoke. I'm old enough to vote. But they turn me away when I go to the Cotton Eye Joe. They say the grass is always greener, and I believe that's right. But my friends are off to Vegas, and they're leaving me behind. So what is happening? They turn me away when I go to the Cotton Eye Joe. So he's trying to get into that bar now. He's old enough to try to get into bars. He's got the fake ID, all right? And he's trying to get into the Cotton Eye Joe. That's the local night spot. That's where people play pool. They drink the long necks. They smoke cigarettes, and they get into fights. Some of the fights where they swing pool cues at each other's heads. It's unbelievable. But he's not. And then his friends are going off to Vegas on a road trip, and he doesn't have enough money to do it, and they're leaving him behind. Chorus number 3. What I wouldn't give to be 21, wild and free. Open up a cold one and drink it legally. Chase a bunch of girls, go see the world, let my wild streak run. I'll be right where I want to be when I'm 21, etc., etc. Then into the outro. Now I'm 25 and I'm drinking wine with my wife at home. Got a couple dogs and a couple songs on the radio, and we sit around and we laugh about how we used to be when all we cared about was turning 16. So you see the theme here. He's getting older. So now in chorus 3, he's 21 years old. Wild and free. Open up a cold one and drink it legally. It's a metaphor. It's a metaphor for voting. He's opening up a cold one. He's stepping into the cold voting booth, not really being sure who he's going to vote for, and he's doing it legally. So now he's talking to his friends. Who do I vote for? I don't know which way to go. Republican, Democrat. He's young. He's impressionable. He probably went to college where he had some liberal professors that bent his mind and strayed him from the straight and narrow Republicans that he grew up around. So now he's saying, do we defend the ecology? Do we believe in climate change? Or do we keep the economy moving by regulation rollbacks? These are all the things that are going through his mind when he was 21. But now he's older, he's 25 in the outro, and he's drinking wine with his wife at home. Now you might think they have a cellar, maybe under the steps, maybe in the basement. No, this is simple country folk. This is why his audience identifies with him so much and have made him a star. They drink wine out of the box that they get at Costco. Costco boxed wine. So that's what they're drinking. Got a couple of dogs and a couple of songs on the radio. So that's not their dogs like they're hunting dogs. I mean, they probably have that, but they're talking about eating hot dogs at home with boxed wine. And we sit around and we laugh about how we used to be when all we cared about was turning 16. Guys, it's another great song that reveals the history of the artist. The artist is explaining to us how they've developed over time and how they've adapted to their world. And they're taking us in and giving us insight into how they grew up and how they learned to be an adult as they turned 16 and onward. I hope that helps. It's another great hit from Thomas Rhett, and that is 16.